Dad and Rock presents the Invasion After Show. This is Sean.
And this is Chris.
And this week we are talking about Season 1, Episode 7 of Invasion, which is titled Hope.
Hope. Did this
I
give you
hope
hope?
I hope this was a better episode. We'll see.
Like always, guys. We're interactive. Please help us sometimes. Throw a question at us.
We're begging you.
Yeah, we're begging you, please. But if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We do this every Friday night. We do trailer reactions. We do all the fun stuff, don't we?
We did. We recently did a reaction to the latest Spider-Man No Way Home trailer that's out now. Big movie coming out soon, so check that out. And we did a Ted Lasso after show prior to Invasion. So yeah, check out dadandrock.com. Check out our YouTube page. Just search Dad and Rock and you'll find us.
There we go. So let's just do first impressions. What was your first impression of this episode here?
I was actually a little disappointed that they went back to the format of just going in between every single character and location. That's one of my nitpicks of the show. Is just it feels very soapy. It feels like an afternoon. It feels like All My Children or something, something that would have played when we were kids.
Yeah.
At like 1 in the afternoon on your local TV. But the way it just goes, I don't know why that is because other shows have interconnecting, plots and characters that are separate from each other. And it's something about the editing or something that just feels very like old school.
It's really choppy.
It's very choppy. Yeah. The way they go from one scene to the next without really having a theme that ties it together. I don't know, but
Hold on, the invasion isn't tying it together?
I guess somewhat. Well, we mentioned that last episode how all of their individual storylines, the alien invasion is such like a background thing.
Yeah.
They all have different missions, different goals. But yeah, as far as this particular episode, it's to me it seemed like there's a lot of plot progression. But how do you feel about it?
I feel like this episode, as much as I felt like the last episode 6, Home Invasion, took a step forward for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this episode took like 3 steps backwards.
Oh, really?
Like I loved Home Invasion. I loved the whole thing that happened in the house, how they were getting away. We seen the alien. We seen, like you said, they set parameters and rules around these things.
Yeah.
Everything about that episode felt like what I expected out of the show. A lot earlier.
Looking back on it, I think last week's episode was probably the one I enjoyed the most. I might have even said that last week, but to like hang on to the one character and just see story progression from one point to the final point of the episode, just the mood, the county evacuation thing that kept playing at the end during the that frightening scene at the end. I thought it was like really well done, even though it was shot dark in some points.
Yeah,
the story was really, really good.
Now, see, I think they missed an opportunity because they basically centered on that family for that episode.
Right.
I feel like they should have went ahead and done, the kids from London and Mitsuki from Japan. I feel like they should have focused on those two.
That's what you and I assumed that they were going to do, is to scale back and really focus on one story point, maybe per episode, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, because they don't want to give it an actual crescendo for the season finale.
Right.
Like, okay, now that's all coming together as one. And then when they went back to the whole 4, showing all 4 of them again,
it's kind of strange.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I like Trevante Cole's his whole storyline.
Yeah,
but I feel like that was a throwaway. There was nothing. I mean, outside of him, getting on a plane and forcing his way out, I feel like I did not care about anything about his character this time around.
I know you and I talked last week. We're like, well, I can't wait to see. Hopefully next week it'll be the full episode will be all Trevante to see how he actually gets home. But really, there was nothing interesting there. He like just came across a family. He got in the vehicle. Oh, Kabul happens to be a place where they're still, flying out. How convenient.
200 miles away. Yeah.
Yeah. They get there. He gets on the plane. They leave. Like nothing really crazy.
And would he actually be able to just get on that plane? Think about that.
No.
Yeah. Think about it. There's a level of suspension of belief that I've been able to suspend.
Right.
Because of the show. And they're pushing my limits of being able to suspend my belief.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's almost something in every one of the storylines this week that I can talk about that I'm like, this may have bugged me. This bugged me. This is going on. What's happening here?
I get your point on Trevante, but we'll get there. Let's start out with
beating around the alien here, and let's just start getting into the episode.
Yeah, so we actually start the episode with Aneesha, right? I think that's, where we begin was where we left off last week. We
Yeah, right in
still
the car.
yeah, it opens up with the evacuation, announcement that's replaying in her car, and she's driving down the road. It's still pitch black out, still dark. I can't see anything. It's all shadow.
Yeah,
Um, there's some dialogue there, and Anisha ends up pulling over because I guess her husband Ahmed becomes unresponsive. The kids
yeah,
notice, and at that point, I mean, she's kind of freaking out, and she pulls over and does some quick emergency surgery on him.
yeah. She's a pretty good triage doctor for not being a doctor.
She is, yeah. She really,
It tells you how far along she must have been within her like residency or whatever it
right,
is doctors go through
yeah,
before she stopped to have Luke and
yeah.
then have the family basically.
Yeah, she improvised, man. It was kind of a scary scene. Like the kids were really crying. Like I bought the daughter Sarah, like
Oh
when she was
yeah,
crying out for her daddy and stuff. That was tough.
that little girl's fantastic. Her
She's a
and
good
Luke,
actress.
the two kids that that play those kids,
Yeah,
they're probably some of the brightest like parts of the show
you're right. They're both really good.
because
Yeah,
you feel that it feels genuine coming from those two completely.
all the emotion, the fear,
Yeah,
like yeah, when they're just happy, like playing like children. Yeah,
yeah.
every scene they're in, they do a good job.
But
But
let's
yeah,
check
she's
this.
like crying out,
Yeah,
and
let's check this out. Because you said you pull over, she pulls them out, and then they're completely into is he gonna die? Because we
right.
expected him to die. And let's see if there's any comeuppance here for him.
You saved my life. Thank you. You're welcome.
We actually got a thank you from Ahmed.
And he didn't deserve it.
No,
Frankly, he did not to be deserve to be saved or anything, but you can tell she's doing it what's in the best interest for her kids.
You were right. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
what this whole thing has been as far
yeah.
as him tagging along to begin with. Like, if there wasn't that connection there with the kids, he wouldn't even be there with her right now.
And I'm shocked he still is, considering he's not in the poster.
True. Yeah, which is
So the fact
interesting.
that he's made it to episode 7 is a triumph for him already.
Yeah, for sure. But the tune's changing a bit. I think he's probably. I mean, how could you not be grateful? You're on the verge of death, and your own wife brings you back from that. Like he's aware. He recognizes what she's done for him.
Oh yeah.
And even going forward in the story, I mean, she essentially gets them to safety. They get to a diner, they get full bellies. They,
Yeah, the diner that has power that no one else has power. That's one of my
I
scenes.
is
It
that
was
one of the
cool
things you
seeing.
ran
Yeah, it
into?
was cool seeing the whole thing lit up because it looked awesome.
It did.
But why does the diner have power just a flick of a breaker and nobody else has power in this city? Uh,
Exactly. That's what I when they went to the back and just flipped the switch and the power came back on, then I'm thinking like, well, did the people flee and like turn the power off for some reason?
yeah,
Like that doesn't seem it seems to be that no place has power because infrastructure's down,
yeah. Well,
not
it's
because people
also
turn the lights off.
yeah, but it also goes against the rules that we learned in the last episode. All of a sudden, there's lights, there's noise. These
Yeah.
things are attracted to that,
Right.
that those vibrations or whatever it is.
Yeah, and if they're gonna
So
find, a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere to attack the people there, like, of course, they're gonna find this lit up diner.
yeah,
So yeah, that was yeah. So that's plot point number 1 where you're
that's
like,
plot.
"Hmm,
That's the first one with the family. I'm like, yeah, I can look past the triage nurse and everything and figuring that
uh-huh,
out because they kind of laid the groundwork for her being able to do that already.
mhm."
But flipping the power, making milkshakes, and Ahmad mentioning, well, you can do this and you can do that and you can do this, and just like when you do, well, I guess you can do it all. And I was like, well, that's
Weren't
kind
they
of backwards.
married? Don't I mean, does he not
Yeah.
know that she can flip a burger?
Well, then she even said, well, we did do this, but you weren't there. So she made a backhanded comment back at him. I was like, all this took place already. You were just never present for it to happen.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Which he
she
didn't
took,
have anything to say. He didn't have a comeback to that.
yeah, no, she took her shot and then she let it be.
It was nice to see a moment of peace, though, between these 4 because we haven't had that essentially since the opening of the series. Because right from there, Anisha was concerned about the cheating and everything, and it's
Yeah.
just been a downward spiral since then. But for them to be able to take a break, see the kids, eat a gigantic cheeseburger and milkshake, that
Yeah.
was good.
How do I eat this? I'm thankful for milkshake.
Yeah.
My friend milkshake.
It'd be good. Yeah, Anisha was too. But so after the diner, she takes her family back to this I guess the place that she heard about last episode
It
that
was
they
like
were
a
on their way to.
college, yeah, or
Yeah,
something down those lines. And
where
and
they
this
had
is
more
this is something
people,
that
more
bugged me.
rations, more
Yeah,
supplies.
yeah. This bugged me a little bit too, because it's not exactly the same as Stolen Valor, but she's
Mm,
taking like privileges that okay, she can do some things, but she's not Dr. Lockhart. You
true.
know what I mean? So she's doing it for the best interest of her family. But what's going to happen if they find out that she's technically not a doctor, or you know what I mean, or she's doing
If it's
things
the
that
end of
are
the world and she's actually helped people in surgery, I don't know. There's much, after the fact, if the world gets back to a point where she can be held liable and, they should be thankful that
there was
they're
someone
at
that
that point. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say when you're doing stuff for your kids, for your family, and they passed by a large room where it was kind of, there were like tents and doors, and it was super crowded. She just kind of took it. She took the VIP room.
she just let him go. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was rolling with what she set up, back in the grocery store.
Yeah. She ran into, I guess, the same male doctor that she
Yeah,
had done the surgery with the last time when she was in her trance,
yeah, and
her
found that little
walkabout.
like alien creature within the wound.
And they played the scene really weird as though they had some deep, meaningful relationship where it's like, "Oh, it's you again. Oh my goodness." And like the guy and her, like they were like stuttering and kind of gazing at each other as though she had spent a month with this guy, but literally it was like,
Hours.
yeah, a couple hours.
But I think it was also they were trying to play up the shock that she's alive. Because I think
Mm,
after a little bit later with the actual soldier that was walking her to like her room,
right.
basically said they almost lost everybody. The Humvees, the ambulances.
Oh,
This
no
doctor was
kidding.
one of the few that actually got out alive
Yeah,
after she left. So I think that's what they were trying to play up. They were shocked that she was still with them.
I gotcha. Plus, there was that little thing with Ahmed too, as far there's a little hint of jealousy there. Um, Ahmed probably saw, a guy interested in her in some sort of way, and it pinged some feelings of probably feelings that he hadn't felt in a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Like, hold on,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
But she basically tells the guy that, Ahmed needs to basically, get cleaned out from
I've
his
done all this, but
emergency
with no
surgery.
sterilism and everything,
Yeah,
this needs to be taken care of now.
he's
He's
gonna get
gone to us.
infected. Right. Um,
And that's pretty much where we leave off with that storyline. Uh, with where we're at now in that storyline is what's next with them? 'Cause
I
they
I
got
don't know, that's hard to say unless this installation gets attacked again and they have to hit the road again. That's the only thing I can really think of.
yeah, I mean off to Canada. I mean that's where I
Yeah,
thought they were going anyway.
right. Because right now it seems safe, but, with these alien things, there's not a lot of safety. They bust down doors pretty easily.
And guns do nothing to them.
Not yeah, apparently not.
Yeah, guns that haven't done nothing to them.
They all need their big black space rock to bludgeon them with, and they'll be
Yes,
fine.
they do.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But okay. So that's the what we call the Long Island, portion of
Iced
the show.
tea.
'Cause yeah, because it's really kind of Long Island. That sounds amazing right now. Uh,
Could use one of them to get through the show.
oh boy, you have no idea. So let's jump to the character that we were both looking forward to. I
Yeah,
mean, Trevante over in Afghanistan. That was the storyline I wanted to see more of.
yeah.
And dude, they could have just left this whole thing out. I didn't. There was nothing. I mean, he ran into a family. One guy speaks English. Like you said, there's an airport in Kabul. We find out a plane. All the planes went down, and everyone died in them. It's just like
It was
there
all
was
really
nothing.
convenient.
Yeah, there was nothing here that I could care. I didn't. They could have given me a 10-minute clip of this, and then been nothing else more in the episode, and it'd been enough to go ahead and forward his story along.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very strange. Yeah, I don't know. Look, here's the pet peeve that I hit in this storyline, and maybe it's the same one that you ran into. Like, he was able to convince these armed guards to get him and this family that he met onto this plane that's evacuating. And the collateral that he had was a gun. He said, "This is a really nice gun," but I mean, all
I think
those
he said
guys have
something like it's
guns.
$1,000. or something
Yeah,
like that.
but
'Cause
it's
everyone
like
was paying their way on the plane. He's like he gave up his weapon.
these armed guards who have assault rifles already, they're holding them.
They want another one.
Yeah, I don't know. It was enough for him, not only him to get on, but this entire family.
Yeah,
Husband, wife, and 2 kids. It just rang strange to me.
yeah. And why is this plane gonna be able to take off and the other ones couldn't?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like more the suspension of belief. How long are
Yeah.
they going to be in the air? Where are they flying to? They're going in the air where these creatures are at. Apparently, their ships are. Uh, so it's like,
What if they take
oh,
off and just crash right into a spaceship?
it's got the cloaking device like it did back in Oklahoma.
Oh no, that would be awful.
Yeah. I mean that one. Like I said, I was so disappointed in that because he's been one of my favorite characters on the show,
Right.
and it just like it felt like they really did him wrong in this episode.
And really, the only revelation that we get in this episode is that he and the father, on their way to Kabul in the truck, the father mentioned, "Hey, how many kids do you have?" Because I could always tell, what the father's
The-
eyes looks like.
yeah.
And we haven't heard of Trevante having any kids at this point, right? Just that one family member he talked to.
Yeah, and it must be a girlfriend or a wife now,
Right.
knowing that, yeah, without saying he's a father, but knowing now. So that
Yeah.
would the only thing that would make sense in that position.
Yeah. So that's a bit of a reveal there because he didn't deny it. He was just like, "How did you know?" Or "Why do you say that?" That kind of
Yeah,
thing. That's about it. I mean, that's where we leave him.
yeah,
He's
that
on this
wasn't.
plane and he's going somewhere.
Yeah, who knows where they're flying?
Right.
Who knows if they're going to land?
Right. What if the plane was like heading to Australia? He was like, "Can you guys drop me off?"
What if
And
that was the end of his storyline? Plane's gone.
oh, that's it. Yeah.
Fall right in line of everything.
I mean, speaking of
um,
which, we're kind of not we're running out of time. What is it? 10 episodes that
yeah,
this show is going to be?
yeah. This was episode 7.
Yeah.
So
So 8, 9, 10. That's not a ton left.
no, they're not. Yeah, I don't know where they're going with this.
Here's the thought that I had this episode that really kind of scares me is that we're not going to get any kind of resolution on these stories at the end of this season. They're just going to play it as though they're just gearing up for season 2, which I don't think we're going to get at this point.
Oh no, the word of mouth in this show is not good. And the people
Yeah,
like us that have committed to it,
right.
I mean, we're doing the best we can to hype the show, but we're having a hard time even adding hype to it because it's the we hear us talking about it. We're like, okay, we're having issues with this, and we're having issues with that. And
Yeah,
I hope they didn't play it that way. If they played it that way, oh, I'll be upset. I want
yeah,
some type of resolution. I want to see something. I want something to happen. I want the earth to go boom. I give me some earth shattering event that's going to actually take place if we're going that way.
yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Our first comment, Stacy Roberts. Hey, Stacy. Are you watching Invasion on Apple TV Plus? If you're not already, then don't start it.
Don't start it. Just watch us and we'll give you the recaps of what's going
Yeah,
on.
we're 7 episodes in. We're 7 episodes in.
There we go. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the Lord of the Flies. That's the kids back in London. Now this was actually
Right.
more entertaining. I think to me the best part of this episode really was the kids,
Yeah.
and that hasn't held true to me. In other episodes, I feel like it's been the weakest.
Yeah,
So
it was we got a little bit of development here between Casper and Jamila. Is that her name?
yeah,
Kind of the semi love interest, but I mean they're kids, so whatever. It's the
oh,
girl
I
he
was so
likes.
happy the kiss didn't happen. I was about to feel real awkward.
Yeah, they've had other stuff going on, so they don't have a lot of time to focus on that kind of thing.
Yeah, I
They're in
was happy that.
desperation mode.
Yeah, I was really happy that didn't happen. I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready to cringe. I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
don't do this, don't go down that road. But yeah, we actually see, they're finally walking down the road, and there's someone coming. There's someone in a car and
Yeah, someone hauling
hauling
ass.
some serious ass.
Yeah, the opposite direction from the
Yeah.
direction they're walking towards. Yeah.
Oh, and I loved Casper. He went all full badass. Casper the friendly ghost on her. He just stood there.
He
And
did. He's over it. I mean,
yeah,
he's shell shocked, right? If you've already gotten this far at this point, yeah, why not just
he's
stand
seen
in
his
front of a
teacher
truck?
die in a car accident.
Hmm.
He gets out. They find out all the roads all destroyed. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
They find these pieces of the Russian satellite that match his drawings.
yeah. He's freaked
There's
out.
so much going on in his head, and all of
And
a
he wants to
sudden,
impress the girl he's walking with.
yeah, stop right there.
Right.
But and I was like, holy crap, is he? Because Monty is like, he jumps out, and he's like, oh hell, he jumps out of the way,
Yeah.
and all the kids move, and Casper didn't go nowhere. He's like, you're stopping that car, or you're hitting me. I don't care.
Yeah, and the lady that's driving this small pickup, she does stop. She slams on the brakes. She doesn't hit Casper, and we find out she's just like a survivor of this small town that was attacked,
Yeah,
and she's just trying
she's
desperately just to flee.
yeah, her whole family's dead.
Yeah,
Everyone from her dog to her husband to her kids, and she was able to get out
yeah,
without being hurt. And you can see she's completely shell shocked. And then the kids are like, asking her, "What's going on? What's it?"
yeah. They're the
And
last to know about this invasion.
they have no idea.
Yeah,
And she kind of gives them this explanation here.
It's everywhere. What was it? It wasn't terrorists. What is it? Aliens.
Oh, come on. What? She's full of bullshit.
You can't be serious.
You're full of shit.
The US president was on the telly last night. First we thought it was just there. Then just the cities, London. But
they finally got the news.
Oh, she's full of bullshit.
That's the natural reaction, I think.
Oh yeah, that'd be my first reaction too. And man, but as soon as she mentioned the U.S. president being on the telly, they're
Right.
like,
Something's happening.
something's going on.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not going back that way. We're not going that way.
That's another thing. Like they did this little trick last episode where Aneesha was being driven off and she's like, turn the truck around. I need to go back to my family or whatever. And the driver's like, I'm not turning around. I'm not stopping this vehicle for anything. And they just smash cut to the vehicle stopped and Aneesha going and running away.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. Like, I'm not going back there. No way in heck. And like the next scene, she's dropping them off.
Yeah, back in London, where she said she wasn't going back to. So,
Like, I get the shortcut for the writers to take, but like, come on, guys, it's a little lazy.
yeah, but I mean, yeah. I mean, once again, I mean, are a bunch of teenage kids going to convince me to go back to see where I seen my
hell
wife
no.
and kids and dog and all my family die?
No, dude.
No, you're going to get in the car, and I'm sorry about your family, guys, but they're probably not there either. And you're going this way with me if you're in the car.
Yeah, look, I'm going in this direction, like it or not. You could either hop in the car and go that direction, or I'm not going back there. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to move because my foot's going to hit the pedal. You're either getting in or I'm going over you.
Yeah.
That's essentially how I would be probably at that moment.
But they do get there. I guess it's 5 of them. We've got Casper, we've got Monty, we've got Jamila, and a couple of other kids from this from this school, from this bus, from this doomed field trip. And they ended up splitting up because they live in different parts of town. And
we actually got some real progression between Monty and Casper.
yeah, we did.
Monty actually apologized for being an ass. And
This
Jamila
time it was
wasn't
genuine.
and Jamila wasn't going to accept it. She was like, she's not going to do it. And
Mhm.
Casper decided to go ahead and accept his apology because you can tell it felt genuine. It was something he meant at this time because he knows something's up and he didn't want to go home.
Right.
So I'm not sure where he's actually even heading.
Yeah, and Casper forgives him. Jamila is like, he doesn't deserve to be forgiven, but it's the end of the world, so whatever.
Yeah.
And they part ways finally, and now it's just Jamila and Casper walking towards their neck of the woods.
So are we done with the other kids now, you think? Are we done with the Monty and those boys? Because we
With
haven't
only
seen
3
the crew.
episodes left, I can't imagine we're gonna, unless we see Monty. I don't think we'll see the other 2. We may see Monty because we know what his home life is like, and he may decide to he wants to go back with the kids that he was just with.
Yeah.
Like, they're my only connection to anybody that I know, so let me try to find them again, that kind of thing.
Because we lost the kids back in the truck. We haven't
Right.
seen them since. So
I don't think
we're
we
done
will.
with them. I mean,
Who
they may
knows?
be
Maybe we're
alien
gonna
bait.
attacked by aliens. Yeah.
Yeah, they sat back, ate chocolates, and got eaten by aliens. I mean, that's
Right.
all we know.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, I mean, they're going. But now, out of the blue, Casper and Jamila see an alien themselves.
Probably the coolest scene in this episode is them walking and peeking around the corner of this building to actually see one of these aliens and what they look like in broad daylight, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
It's
no.
been all in shadow so far. They get a really good look at these alien things, and they're pretty freaky.
Yeah, it's really shapeshifty.
Yeah,
Like there's no like solid shape to it at all. It's like legs here, legs there,
it's
kind of
very
just
Venom. They're like these big spores and made of this goop, and they move around like I don't know, and they leave this trail of stuff.
I
This
feel like they're feeding on the power source.
right.
That's the feeling I got out of that scene that he was there and then what was it? Casper chucked something to make a noise somewhere else.
No, it was the thing heard gunfire in the
Oh,
distance,
that's what it
and he
was.
went
Okay.
towards it. Yeah.
Which we know gunfire is not going to do nothing for you.
Exactly, yeah. We know whoever's shooting that gun is probably not long for this world.
Yeah, nope, they're done.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's really I mean, we've already talked about the whole, Jamila and Casper thing. I'm like, okay, I'm glad we didn't do
Well, I'm
that.
glad Jamila called Casper out on there being something with Casper. She, like, listed all out. She was like, "You know Russian, you drew this thing before we saw it. There's something going on with you." And he tries to tell her what little that he knows, that I guess during these epileptic attacks that he has, he hears this voice, right?
Yeah,
It seems to me he's hearing the same
that Wajo or
signal,
whatever. Yeah.
Wajo, or the same, well, basically the same frequency and noise that they're studying in the next scene in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, there is a serious connection to him
Yeah,
and what's going on. And I
right,
really wish they would focus more on that.
right.
If he's going to be essentially he's the focus point of this whole show,
Yeah,
but he's a cog in four different stories. So you're not giving us I mean, the show has potential, but it is so weirdly edited, so weirdly set up. So it's just that's why I'm frustrated by it because I want it to be good, but I just feel disappointed like so often with it.
yeah. That's probably larger talk for when we finally wrap up this after show, as far as our major disappointments with the show. But yeah, you're right. There with such a big premise, and I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
But let's go ahead and we've already talked about Mitsuki a little bit here. Well, a very, very little bit in Japan. This is my biggest issue with this episode.
Oh, okay,
This whole scene is complete bull.
right.
You're not walking into a government facility saying you're somebody that you're not. You're not going to be there and not get arrested. This whole scene should be the end of our Japan thing because the minute they bust in and they arrest them,
That should
game
be it.
over.
Yeah, she's
Game
thrown
over.
into a
You were
gulag.
locked up in some prison in whatever country you're in Japan, or it would be here in the States.
Right.
I mean, this is essential. It's borderline espionage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Mitsuki and the guy that she worked with earlier, is it Kato, I guess?
Yeah,
Her
Kato.
her coworker that works with her at JASA, and her girlfriend's father, the astronaut's father that she met a couple episodes ago. The three of them are in this, the Scooby-Doo van. They're heading towards this installation, this with a big satellite.
Scooby Doo it, please.
It reminded me of Contact. Remember that
Oh
old movie?
yeah, with Jodie Foster.
Yeah, with like the is it SATA or whatever? Yeah, with the giant satellite dishes
Yeah.
that are listening to radar and radio signals from outer space. That's basically what this small team is doing here, but that's it. It's like there's only a team of like 5 guys that are just sitting around eating Doritos and like, listening to space signals.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be very highly guarded because she just walks right in and she's like, "Yeah, I'm in charge now."
And say, this is who I am. This is what's going on. No one
Right.
really questions her really, and they just kind of fall in line. It's like,
Yeah, and they spend all night listening to the signal that's being pumped out and trying to decipher. I don't know, some kind of technical way of them deciphering. She basically, there was a lot of dialogue here. There was a lot of just plot diarrhea.
yeah,
Where she was just like, "Oh, it must be this. It must be this." It's like it's not. It's not a signal. It's a network. They're all talking to each other.
well, then
We're
she
hearing a
finds
million voices at once. That kind of
at the
thing.
very end, they find the distress signal.
Yeah.
Go figure. We find the distress signal, and then while they're locking on it, they all get arrested. And that to me, that's it. I don't care anything else that happens there because nothing. I have suspended enough belief in that storyline to this point
Yeah.
to be like, I'm done. There's nothing more you can tell me that it's like I can even buy.
You know it's not done though.
Oh, I know it's not done, but it's
Yeah.
so
It's coming back.
Yeah, that one makes me more angry than anything because I felt like that storyline had some of the most
Potential.
potential of all of it
Yeah.
from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And they went down the road of just complete crazy.
There we go. Episode 7, Hope. Invasion.
If you can't tell, this episode gave me no hope at all. After so much hope after home invasion, this one here, man, it really, really disappointed me because
We finally like completely turned the corner on this show where now we're just like counting down to the end here. Do you think there's any hope for episode 8 to be better?
Oh, I like that's what you did there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna give it because I liked episode 6 so much.
Yeah.
Because how well that was done.
I don't think we're getting.
I kind of agree with you. Well, somehow Trevante, we know just by, I think, a poster or a trailer, Trevante winds up back in the States. And he's standing on some grassy knoll somewhere waiting for a shot out of the bushes. I don't know. And we got to see something. Somehow he gets back. Somehow we see a city in shambles. So
does he go to Oklahoma? Where's his hometown? Can we head back to Oklahoma?
Yeah, give us something more there. What happened there? That's the first time we've seen a ship.
That's going to be one of the big mysteries of this show is like they opened up with Oklahoma being so important in episode 1 and we haven't been back there since.
Well, Oklahoma was the trailer.
Right.
That was it. The birds, the crop circle,
Sam Neill.
Yeah, all of that. And 20 minutes, maybe?
Yeah.
If that. Oh, man, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to crap on the show this much this episode, but man, this one really disappointed.
We did. That's what we do here, though. If we're not feeling the show, we're honest with what our opinions are of these after shows. So if it's not doing it for us, we're not going to fake it.
Yeah, you're going to get it from us.
Yeah.
So who are we? What are we doing here, man?
We are Dad and a Rock. We are a couple of guys that have known each other since we were 10 years old. We met in 1993. We're a couple of old fogies. I like to keep stabbing you in the heart like that. Yeah. We're dads. We talk about pop culture stuff. We have a podcast. You can listen to it anywhere podcasts are available. We have this YouTube channel. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also check out dadandrock.com for all the stuff that we do.
And I'm putting a lot of stuff up on TikTok lately.
There's
little clips of what we're doing. So if you just want a real little clip of what's happening, follow us over at TikTok. It's just Dad and Rock on TikTok now.
Are you doing any TikTok dances?
No, God help us. I might start singing a little bit.
There you go.
Okay, guys. So thanks for joining us first and foremost. And until we see you next week, same time, 10 o'clock Saturday night, go ahead and keep it cheesy.
See ya.